What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here. We are back with more Emberfell Whispers from the Stars. Looking a little slim in here, but more will come. We unfortunately will not be joined by Rogar or Velree tonight, but the mighty Moog, this is his homeland after all, will be showing up just a little bit later. So we will be catching up with the current party members and seeing how that's going on until that takes place. So, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves briefly, there's only two of you. Go right ahead. Let's start with Andrea.
Hi, I am playing Zune, a drow bard who is killing it right now at this festival, and hopefully I can hype Moke up enough to where he can win his sweetie back. I'm a great wingman, and I didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. And then, Dubu209.
Yes.
Alan.
Yes. Tristan Varel, high elf, time wizard, level 10 now, which means all of my passive abilities have gone up by 1.
They have indeed.
All really high.
They're getting up there for sure. So, last we left off, to catch everyone up, especially Trist, since he wasn't here last session. All of you had found yourselves on the ship after escaping the Dragon's Horde, after escaping from Zinmith, being piloted by Marble and his very, very skeleton pirate crew at this moment. Not many of those guys left. Had traveled here to Brunwood in hopes of finding safe harbor to repair the ship and also a place to rest and recuperate after the drastic events that took place. You came here. It is Moog's home, Brunwood, a city somewhat blended into bits of the more natural foresty elements of the nearby area that seems to be guarding the entrance to the Shrieking Forest, a massive plateau of God knows what. We don't know yet. All of you had stayed here. All of you had spent time doing endeavors and whatnot, which we'll get to Trist's in a moment. And Moog inevitably wanted to come back here to turn in, well, not necessarily turn in, but to bring back his cousin Zidrun's crossbow to present back to his family with evidence that he had completed his task in finding his long-lost cousin. It's been missing for well over a year. Actually, closer to 2 years now. When this happened, the party was in for a bit of a shock as you came across a city pretty much inhabited by mostly bugbears. There are some other races and folk around, but primarily just bugbears from multiple clans, not just Clan Broadjaw. You found a very sparsely guarded castle, as well as very limited amounts of Broadjaw clansmen kind of walking the streets. And this is by no means like a small hamlet almost, kind of like Conwich. This is more of a true village. Not nowhere near Port Dorona size, but definitely not too small either. But despite all of these aspects of it, you came across a few shops and whatnot, moving your way through, and you guys were all roped into a bit of a drama that goes with having some kind of family title, some kind of lordship over a community, and the strife that might accompany that. You met Uncle Bunk, who was the dockmaster of Brunwood. He's a bit of a drunk. He likes to gamble, but he was a decent fellow, to say the least. Zune talked him in with his sweet honey words into dropping the price significantly on repairing the ship that you guys all agreed to, lest it not become property of Clan Broadjaw. And of course, forever gaining the loyalty of the pirates of the Elusive Rose. In addition to that, you met his grandchildren, Biz and Buzz. Biz and Buzz both being like captains of the guard that watch the large wall, the palisade wall that actually guards the edge of the village from the Shrieking Forest. You also met, there's a lot of people in here, I know. I apologize. You also met Warlord Balder, who was a pleasant individual, very ancient, older bugbear. This was Moog's grandfather, as well as his sister, Lady Sasane Broadjaw. More of an older woman, but more of a kind of shamanistic, almost druidic vibe about her garb and her person, and she was described as such, as she had a touch of the old shamanism that ran through the bugbear clans that settled here. As well, you met Lady Tyr Greywood, which turned out to be Moog's sweetheart, the one that he pined for growing up. That when he left, he told himself that when he came back, he would make her an honest woman. And you also met his rival, Graug, the Graug Longarm from a rival clan, who also pined for Lady Tyr. However, in the current happenstance, it was revealed that somehow or another, you guys haven't gotten the full aspect of everything dished out yet, that Lady Tyr has, for some reason, been promised to Moog's grandfather in marriage, and the wedding will be soon. She was seen sitting next to him in his throne room as you guys were presenting your evidence of Zidrin's passing. Moog was not treated well, you guys noticed, in the castle. Not well at all. The only ones who seemed to have any friendliness towards him of his family members seemed to be Biz, for sure. You're not sure about Buzz. You found him unconscious later. Uncle Bunk, and of course, the man who raised Moog when his parents were missing, Uncle Cock, the wild cock himself, who had raised him and had sheltered him and brought him into his ways. A bit of a shaman himself, an expert with the crawfish boil, who manages to tell fortunes after having individuals bite the head off the crawfish and then reading their entrails. It was a great, lovely environment that you guys all experienced. Got to see a bit of how Moog ended up the way he is. There was lots of talk of the heir of Boag and all kinds of crazy shit. Apparently Uncle Cock fucked a giant at some point. That was in there. It was great. Lots of good stuff happening. But after all of these reveals and whatnot, you also learned about some of the more hazardous things in the area. Specifically, several mentions of a disease that has been known to spill out of the forest, which is why it's probably so heavily guarded, or at least one of the reasons why, known as the Red Death. And with some very successful rolls, mostly on Moog's part, I think he rolled like a natural 20 on this medicine or this history check. He learned that the Red Death has stages to it. It's almost like rabies. It inflicts any living creature, any not plants obviously, but maybe you don't know. As far as you guys know, any what's the word? Not fauna, I guess we'll call it. Yeah, that's what it is. That's a proper term. With a disease that sallows the skin, reddens the circles around the eyes, and they are known to weep blood and have various things pour out of their orifices, and it drives them into a frenzied rage, and they attack others, almost drinking their blood, and almost like a vampiric kind of need. It is spread through saliva, through bites. I don't think I mentioned that last time, but that's how it's spread. And it has been known to, every once in a while, it crosses through the gate. You're not sure why. It has been known that a few hunters do, in fact, find their ways past the wall just to try to get kind of a leg up on the competition, trying to get into some better hunting ground that they think might exist within the forest itself. Perhaps a few people looking for past treasures or past relics that might be lost within the forest. Relics, speaking of relics or something close to it, you guys have all learned of the Vanishing, the event that took place when Moog was but a small baby, like probably a toddler even, where a good majority of Clan Brajia, we're saying probably somewhere around 2/3 of the clan, as well as most of their vassals, were ordered by the original warlord to venture forth into the forest to stem the tide of the foul Red Death disease. They were told to do this. They were coerced into doing this by a certain green dragonborn that you guys have all have whispers and comes across several times before. Sensu the Serpent. Her description avails herself. Even 40 years in the past, you are seeing marks of what her leadership has caused wherever she goes. Because of this event, Clan Brajia is in dire states for manpower and for money, as they are very low on both. And in this current state, many other clans have started to chaff under their very limited rule, especially since the current sitting warlord did not prove himself in a test of battle or strength. He simply was elected this position because, well, his brother-in-law disappeared. And so eventually he just became the warlord. And up until this point, he has, through various ways, Clan Brajia has managed to coerce the other clans into still being subjects as well, and not as many rivals. But that time is very quickly waning as the old man gets older and older. And there might be other things that are happening with that. But today is the day of the Blueblossom Festival. A very sacred day in Brunwood. It is celebrated in other parts of the dynasty, but particularly in Brunwood because the Blueblossoms are so important to bugbear culture, as we learned from Moog. There is in fact a ancient, massive Blueblossom tree that sits in the main courtyard of Castle Brajia that is gargantuan. It comes up out of the courtyard and is almost as tall as several of the spires of the castle. But you guys are nowhere near that. You guys were actually down at the festival itself in the town, where things were being set up, lanterns were being lit as the suns were going down, and Zune was making music. The rest of the party members went on a bit of a shopping spree. It took forever. May have stepped into a den of the Mar, may have notified the Mar of all of your presences and what you're up to right now. That won't come to bite you guys. And all this time, Tristan Varel has been absent because he has been doing other things. Perhaps he'll make an appearance soon. But as we were closing the last video, Graug, the de facto rival of Moog, had found him in the crowd of the festival and had thrown down the gauntlet of challenge after a few heated words between them both. Mostly there was a few your mama jokes thrown back between them. It was great. And then he challenged him to a feat of dance. And that's where that was going. So, to pick this up, all of you are going to be kind of silent for a moment as we find out what Tristan Varel is doing. So, Tristan Varel, did you finish all your endeavors?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Two of them were for this ball.
Okay. And what was your story one?
The story one was, I didn't have one yet, so I was going to either talk to the old man or
okay.
use my messaging stone and message that Mar guy whose name I forgot.
Which one?
The one that hired me.
Vern. Message first.
Yeah, I get them confused.
That's fine. It's fine. What do you want to do first?
We can do the ball, because I think, for what it sounded like, that's what I was currently doing.
It's what you were kind of in the interest of. So we're rewinding for a few moments, as this is before the events of the festival. We've already done a time jump a couple times last episode. So, Trist, you find yourself. You did, if you remember, last time you were with us, you had found a way through ritual. You could ritually cast your spell. It still requires the use of a spell slot, and it does take an hour to complete, but you are able to select the individual that you summon forth. And through this, you were able to make contact with the older, more wizened Professor Trist, that you had been in the company of a few times as of late. And through communication between the two of you, he was able to bring you to him. And so you are actually in his timeline, his version of who is Tristan Varel. You are within his classroom, sitting there. He had put his arm over your shoulder and told you that he would inform you on many of the secrets of space and time. So, Trist, as you are walking with him, I'm going to say this probably goes on for quite some time. It is revealed to you that space and time are all connected from everywhere. Everyone and everything. Everyone is connected. And they're connected through something you might not expect, Trist. They're connected through an entity, one might say. The older version of you describes it as just a force, is what he describes it as. It's gone by many names. It goes by the name of the key in the gate, the opener of ways. To say its true name is to garner its eyes. Do you want to press any of the issues here, Trist? Do you want to ask any questions?
It's eyes. Well, I've seen eyes before.
Well, of course you have. You've been folding space-time, young friend. You will see many more when the time comes. Do not garner its gaze for long.
Is it capable of reaching through?
It is capable of much. It is not a pleasant thing. We mostly just use its abilities. It has a will of its own, but we can tap into it. It is too different. It's too foreign to our reality to really trap us entirely unless it exerts much of its presence and will. And we are of such small capacity. It would be like as if you were trying to discern the atoms in the atmosphere. That is what we are to it.
We're just a speck of dust on that one.
Indeed, it is beyond much understanding, and I've devoted much of my time and presence to the study of this creature.
Well, I mean, if you know that much, I pull out the orb. What can you tell me about this?
You found it already. I knew you would, but I still was hesitant to broach the subject. It is a very, very powerful item, young friend. One that may bring you sorrow in time, but one that might also save you from yourself. It has a name, but perhaps we should do some more studies together before you learn too much.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, I mean, how does this work? Are we in like does time stand still here, or where are we?
Why, of course not. You are in my timeline, young Trist.
But where? Is this
an academy.
Tower?
This is an academy, my friend. In my reality, we are in well, it's best not to learn too much, my friend. Sometimes things can get crossed, things can get confused, but know this, and all of us are real and present in each of our realities. Should you die in one, you will die in your own.
Yeah, I've assumed that. I've had one of myself get killed.
That is quite unfortunate to witness that. I've witnessed more than my fair share. And you will also be summoned to strange and bizarre places, my friend, as we all have a penchant for destruction. It's a bit of a joke. I apologize.
Yeah. Well, tell me, are we in the dynasty still?
I do not know this place you speak of. We are... you must know that I cannot reveal too much of my own timeline. Things could get crossed. Believe me, you don't want to do that. You bring the gaze of it, the more that you fiddle-faddle with the lapses in time. And not just it, there are almost like leeches, things that attach itself to the entity that can sometimes break loose and come for you should you make yourself known. I call them shamblers.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Well, I mean, isn't it dangerous just doing what we're doing then?
It can be, but I have made a safe space for us to speak. I do not know much of too many other timelines. Most of the versions of us that I've spoken with have been either hostile or insane.
Well, I'll tell you what. If this orb is going to take some time, I mean, I can leave it here. I know how to get back to you.
Oh, no, my friend. I just wanted to give you the warnings before you were doing what you were going to do with it.
Well, I'll heed the warnings, but throw caution to the wind.
Yes, indeed, my friend, you have. Well, I will be your guide as best I can, and I will aid you when need be. As I said, I am approaching the end of what I've foreseen for myself, so I must pass this knowledge on to someone, and who better than myself?
That is correct. How old are you?
I am... it gets strange. We've done so many jumps, so many loops, so many dimensions, but if I had to wager, 1,237.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, well, you say that now, it will go by in a flash.
That is true.
Well, this here, and he brings forth the orb. First off, you must know that you have not bonded with it. He hands it to you.
Yes.
You carry something, Trist. Something that's driven you for long. Do you produce anything, Trist?
I carry something with me?
That's what he said.
What do I carry with me?
Something that has driven you.
My book.
Your book? Which book?
My father's book.
You bring forth your father's diary. I see. Did he not leave you a device?
I mean, this is when I went into my room, this is all that was there, was this, just laying on my desk.
He didn't give you one of these. And he pulls out a stopwatch, like a watch.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think anything other than just the couple spells it can do.
This is much more than you realize, my friend. Take out your device.
Pull it out.
Pull it out. No. No one else should touch it. Only you.
Yes.
Now, open it. You kind of open the clasp. It opens up.
Mm-hmm.
You see, And he points out several rings kind of around the edges. When you take the orb in your hand, you need to channel some of your natural energies that you have accumulated through your studies, and this will bind with it.
Well, how so?
He produces a large volume,
Oh, shit.
places it in front of you. Read this. It will give you all the necessary instructions. And over the next couple weeks, Tristan Varel is studying this in his time, like he does. And eventually, you figure out a strange and bizarre ritual that has been worked out in several different hands, as if perhaps the version of you that is giving this to you is not the first version to have received it.
Yes.
And at one point, you sit down very late. You wait for the three suns to set. You go outside, and under what should be moonlight, but is now just a spiraling ring of debris, you set down the watch. You take the orb, and as the bizarre light cascades over the orb, it begins to shrink. It goes from about the glass, like the size of like a glass ball, almost like a soccer ball. It starts to shrink and shrink and shrink till it's the size of a baseball, and then it shrinks more. It's about the size of a golf ball, and then it gets smaller and smaller, and it's sitting kind of on top of your watch. And as it gets smaller, suddenly you see as it rolls around the surface, spinning quickly. And you notice the hands on the watch are spinning in unison with it. And at an exact time, you funnel some of your space-time energy that you've accumulated, some of the natural courses of reality that you've been able to shape on your own. And the orb sets itself firmly into the device. You hear a resounding click, and almost like a globe of energy envelops the watch for just a moment. You see spiraling galaxies and patterns. What was trapped within is visually without, and then it pulls itself back within. You are now in possession, and you begin to read on this thing. It is known as the Orb of Tindalos. You can find it in D&D Beyond. It is in there. The glass orb appears to contain a miniaturized spiraling galaxy within, and it can be traced back to the lost city of Tindalos, where it was guarded with both reverence and fear. It is said the orb can allow one to glimpse through the fabric of space-time and possibly alternate realities. There is a further part of this, and you know not what its full capabilities are, but what you can discern for now is that in its current state, while holding this orb, you can use an action to call upon the overflowing energy contained within and cast the Summon Divergence spell without any spell components or concentration, and it is cast at the highest level you are capable of. It can be used in this way once, and then regains the energy to do so again after the next dawn. Furthermore, the herb can be used as a spellcasting focus, raising your spell attack and spell save DC by 1. That does not stack, by the way, Trist. You're not. But you have in possession the Orb of Tindalos, should you decide to attune to it.
Am I still with the old man?
I would say that you would have to perform this ritual on your own, in your own time.
Okay.
And it's hard, it's also explained to you that there are different realities, but there are also just different timelines. They're also just part of your same reality, but maybe you're glimpsing the future. Maybe you're glimpsing the past. He said it's all very bizarre, and with practice, you may be able to focus more. You may be able to tap more into this ability. And perhaps with effort and study, as all good wizards should do, you may be capable of becoming a master of time. Something that the older wizened gentleman could never achieve.
Yes. Ooh, that's a lot. That's deep.
That is deep indeed. I'm
Okay.
glad no one else is here for it besides Soon. Go ahead.
I appreciate that he has a watch named after my cat. So this is
does.
great.
He does.
Okay, well, before I leave the old man, as I'm on my way out, so old timer, did you know your mother, or did she die in childbirth like mine did?
My father was he was a mysterious man. He left me when I was but a young boy. Me and my sisters alone. And, well, I spent most of my life searching for him to no avail. I've grasped at strands and straws of his passing, but never once met him. I know not what he's done or where he's been. Perhaps you will fare better than I.
Well, did you ever come across a woman named Lycentra?
Should I have?
I'm just trying to pinpoint a time when our paths would have diverged.
His name is not familiar to me, but
Yeah.
my memory is not quite what it once was, my friend.
Yeah, that's fine. It sounds like our paths diverged pretty early on in your life compared to mine. So, well, you've been a good help. I'll be back. I'll be back visiting. I'll bring you something from my area next time I come.
Of course. And Trist, it's strange saying it aloud. Be careful what you dabble with. You don't want to end up like some of them. I'm sure you've seen them. Strange, changed by the things that they've become a part of. Some of them even becoming a part of the creature. The creature. It goes by the name Yog-Sothoth. Do not speak its name openly, my friend. Even me whispering it here is heresy, but you should know should you come across it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know me. I'm you. I'm always careful.
Yes, my friend.
Wink.
Indeed. Well, enjoy the festival.
Yeah. I just might. This place is weird.
He is a strange man, but one day he will be a good friend.
Well, yeah. I can't wait to get back and see all the magic items my friends were able to purchase.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, Trist, indeed.
And Trist, you are poofed out of existence just in time for someone else to join us right now. It's almost like it was like on cue. I love it. I love it.
Did I win?
No.
Oh.
You just appeared right as Tristan Varel was finishing his story elements. But yes,
Awesome.
Trist, you are within a second.
Yes.
You are back in Brunwood. You're within the castle. You've been given your own room. Everyone in the crew has. Now, I know 2 of our members are not currently with us, but there is an important story-related topic that I need answered from the party. And that is, where is Nyarla? Because I forgot to ask you guys where you wanted her to be. She is somewhere.
Well, there is a Temple of the Well here, correct?
There is a temple here. She could be studying with the sisters there. Well, the attendants, I should say. They're not sisters. Some of them are. Whatever. doesn't matter. She could be studying at the or in tutelage at the temple. She could be staying with Marble. She could be staying with you guys in the castle. It's up to you, whatever your decisions are.
No, Marble's busy. But
he
I feel like staying with us is probably her safest.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
And while we're doing things in the day, it makes sense to me. I figured that she would just be going to the Temple of the Well and continuing her studies since she's just an apprentice. That's what makes sense.
That's fair. So, point of note, is she at the temple now, or is she going to be with the rest of you during the festival?
What time of day is it?
God.
It's nighttime mode because you're about to get your freak on.
Oh, good.
By freak, I mean your dancing feet. Get ready for those Jean-Claude moves.
Gonna be like Cuban Pete. Move along to the dancing beat.
It's more like Jean-Claude.
Oh, with the separate. Yeah, I can do Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. So, is she going to be making an appearance at the festival with you guys, or is she with the sisters? Damn it, I keep saying sisters. With the attendants of Boel.
I kind of feel like she should. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm thinking like if she's in the crowd, there's a chance of someone knocking off her mask or something crazy happening, and then we have
There's always a chance with her of something happening.
It's a veil.
I'm sorry.
Put her in the temple.
Yeah,
that way, if we forget about her, it's over.
Bridger.
She's in the temple.
She is currently under the care of. Let me find it for you.
So we'll forget about her. She's
somebody who had. I mean, Mo knows of the temple very well. Point of note, Trist. I don't know if you remember. The temple actually is a natural hot springs.
Yes.
It's one of the very few things that outsiders actually travel to Brunwood to actually visit. Most otherwise they don't get a lot of traffic. Not a lot of people really wanting to come to old Brunwood here unless they're locals.
Yeah, depending on where I end up, that hot spring was where I was going to go, unless I cross paths with everyone.
Okay.
I don't know where I am at in time with where they are.
You're going to be entering the festival now. Oh, we forgot about your story though. What did you want to do exactly?
I was the first. It would be either messaging Vern.
Okay.
Trying to make a second attempt at Vern.
Okay.
The other one probably won't apply since we're doing the festival. So it would be probably Vern.
Okay. Did you want this to happen this day, or did you want this to happen in the past?
If it would have worked on the ship.
Oh yeah.
Or
definitely.
when we got in town.
Definitely. So, you open up an open message to Vern Giant's Blood, the head of the Giant Blood clan within Port Dorona. A large bugbear, heavily muscled, and has a taste for carnal delights, mostly in the form of humanoids, as he's known to eat them, and many of you have seen this. Trist, you open up this line of communication.
Yeah, Vern, I'm just going to give you a second go. The first one didn't work, but I found your man. Actually, he was a shark. That sounds weird, but that place was a shit show. End message.
Well, I think that I've heard the last from you, Trist.
Vern, that sounds like a veiled threat.
There's nothing veiled of it. You're marked. All of you have been too much trouble. You've caused too much damage to our network, to our reach. And you've been deemed worthy of a death. I'll see you in hell, Varel.
Now, look here, Vern. You can send whoever you want after us. None of them are probably ever going to come back.
The Lords of Death don't fail, Varel. We'll see who has the last laugh.
Well, I look forward to letting you know every time one of them gets killed. and call.
That's it.
Beep,
That's
beep,
it. That's what you get, Trist. That's what you get. So, Trist, you reappear within your quarters at the castle.
Yes.
You haven't spent like months in this other realm because you can't physically stay that long. You can only stay hours at a time. The older version of yourself can actually keep you there for several hours. Way more than you are capable of right now. But
assuming everybody knows I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm assuming you discussed it. Yeah, and then we kind of went over that. Just so you know, Velree has been using you as a telephone to Port Dorona.
Okay.
You've been talking to the bartender Din.
Yes, Din.
And basically you've been inquiring on Velree's handmaids, whom one of them, the one he's been sweet on for the longest, is going to be getting married to him at some point.
Yes. Wedding episode is coming.
Wedding episode, of course. Yes. There's a wedding episode closer than that in Moog's grandfather and his high school sweetheart. But, that's weird. Neither here nor there.
There's West Virginia stuff.
Yeah, it is. Well, Moog's family has been known they have a bit of a Cajun drawl about them. I don't know what it is. The little West Virginia mountain people. Who knows? Regardless, though, you appear within the castle walls. Your friends are already at the festival. What would you like to do, Trist?
If they're at the festival, that will postpone anything I wanted to buy, so I will just meander through the crowd.
Okay.
Is there like stalls set up, like food stalls?
Oh yeah, there's tons of food stalls. There's lots of there's a few games set up. There's a number of different things just at your fingertips here.
Okay.
Of the games that are being set up, just to remind everybody, you see a booth. Well, not really a booth. It's more of a it's like a small ring has been formed, and there's kind of like lines and like sand that's been kind of drawn out, and over it says the Strong Jaw. And as you walk by, you see two large bugbears step forward and just begin slapping the shit out of each other, trying to knock the other one out of the ring. You also see a game that a fair number of children, as well as a couple of the adults, are lined up to play, called the Sharpshooter, where there is like a little wooden crossbow set up, and there are several varying sizes of targets against a far wall where you can try to earn yourself a prize, as well as a contest that is here to commence rather soon, called the Beef and Cheese, and it looks like they are eating what would be the equivalent of hamburgers there. And then, of course, the star attraction that is currently about to be undertaken is the yokai dance, something that I'm not necessarily sure Trist knows much about. Matter of fact, I'm not sure anybody really knows much about it outside of Moog, unless he's tried to explain it. Which, knowing Moog, let's be honest, guys, he can't explain it.
Yeah, this is all new experience for me.
Yeah, and you do find your friends. In particular, it's hard to miss Zune. Zune is on a little pedestal, kind of above, almost like at his own booth. And there's like a collection plate that has appeared in front of him, and he's
taking over someone else's booth.
He's belting out a beautiful ballad with a ridiculous performance check about the glories of Moog Broadjaw and his careless adventures at sea, amongst many other things.
He slayed a god to get back to his sweetheart.
Slayed a god to get back to Lady Tyr. This is all it's belting out. People have been leaving money.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are enjoying the show.
Tristan will walk up with like a sake or a tea in one hand, and like a food on a stick in the other hand.
Exactly. Little kebab.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up?
Point of note, when they start this big thing that looks like it's going to require everyone's attention, I am going to wind it down. I don't want to be like, let me steal thunder from your sacred ritual that you host every year for millennia.
It's true.
So
it's at this point that, because Moog looks like he's fucking pissed. He's like almost nose to nose with this other bugbear that you guys have seen, Graug, who basically just threw down the gauntlet and challenged him to a dance-off. And by dance off, he means participation in the yokai dance. Moog, you know what this dance is, and it's actually more of a ritual and less of a dance. And it is almost like a sacred thing done that's been passed down for generations and generations of bugbears that have lived in Brunwood. It's very specific to your culture, to your roots. And
break into an electric moogaloo.
No, there's no electric moogaloo. There will be no moogalooing happening, Mo. You will see that there's going to be about 20 men and 20 women in this dance. The dance was about to commence. However, I did forget, you, as well as all of the men and the women are already dressed, are going to be pulled into a back station away from the crowd. And as you're pulled back there, you are going to be stripped of all of your armor, your weapons, everything, and you are going to be put in a traditional ceremonial garb of the bugbear, which is almost like a toga. It looks very similar to a toga, but with a little bit of a little Asian flair to it.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like wrapped, and a couple little like cloths and whatnot. And I don't know how Moog feels about wearing a dress, but it looks a lot like
he wears
one.
a kilt. So
There you go. So Moog's good with it. He doesn't care.
Oh yeah, no bugbears. True Scotsmen that they are.
True Scotsman. Okay. There's a lot of too much mismatch happening right now. Japanese festival. Damn it, Dan.
I'm just telling you how the bugbear would wear their togas in the style of a true Scotsman.
Exactly. Got it. So, you are dressed in this, and then you are sent out. In the meantime, Trist and Zune, you see everybody's getting excited. A lot of the other stalls are beginning to kind of close down because this is about to happen around one of the smaller blue blossom trees. And you have all noticed that the blossoms haven't bloomed yet in all of these trees. You just have buds, very visible buds, but they have not yet bloomed, and they're supposed to bloom with this night at the culmination of the ritual, no less. But as everyone's beginning to quiet down, why don't I get Tristan Zune to give me perception tests?
$19
for Trist. And an 8 for Zune. So.
Wait a minute though. Is it nighttime?
It is night.
Okay, it is night. Could I don't want to waste a lucky on this. I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm engrossed.
Trist. You begin looking like where the fuck are Velree and Rogar at? And you look around and you see Velree and Rogar. Velree's just kind of like, and she's like touching her fangs and shit. And Rogar's just like, he's got his sword in his hand. And he's like making it grow and then taking it in over and over again. He's like, whoosh.
She didn't share with me.
And then he just kind of like puts it down. He's like, I feel strange. As he looks out. You could probably guess, Rogar, that they've been dosed with something.
Yes.
Perhaps some drugs that they picked up in the previous episode that they've decided to use because the players are not here right now. And so they are, for the moment, on a trip of their own in the crowd.
What a place to trip.
Yes, indeed. There's a lot of lights. There's a lot of lanterns and shit.
You don't know what we can find.
Indeed. So Trist, you notice that? Unfortunately, Zune doesn't see it. Moog is too busy right now, but Trist, if you'd like to interact, you can.
Yeah, the two of them can handle themselves. I was kind of looked over.
They don't need. It doesn't even. There's no even like. They don't even see you. They're zoned out. All right.
It's gonna be like a tap dance off, like with tap dance shoes.
No, Moog. It is not a tap dance off. What's going to happen, Moog, is the winner. The winner is actually a pair. It is a man and a woman. The woman is crowned the queen of the Blueblossom Festival. The man is crowned king. However, the king then gets to dance with the previous reigning queen. And as the festival goes on, this tradition is passed on and on and on. And the previous queen was in fact Lady Tyr. So there is a lot riding on this, Moog, should you fuck this up. All right. First off, Moog, as you gather around, all of the men gather out in a large circle around the tree. And you guys all grasp hands. Graug is across from you. You see him staring at you the whole time. The women are gathered within the center and within two smaller circles around the center of the tree. They're wearing veils, long veils, and almost like summer dresses in blues and purples and pinks. And it's all very kind of earthy and ceremonial. It's kind of the vibe the rest of you are kind of getting off of this mode. And as this happens, the goblin who had announced your guys coming within the throne room is also the announcer here for this very festival. Lady Tyr is up on a pedestal, kind of looking down. Mo, give me a perception test real fast.
Right.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty. 13.
Not too bad.
Not bad. All right. You see, it's hard to tell, but you think that she's looking at you every so often, Moog. Perhaps there's still hope, Moog. Perhaps there's still hope. There's everything Graug said as well. You're not sure what all of his veiled threats might have meant, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how you do, Moog. But perhaps bolstered with new resolve, as you're clasping hands, the goblin puts his hand up and then quickly moves it downwards. And a collection of drummers begin to strike up, bum bum bum, and a drumming rhythm can be heard. And as this happens, all of the men begin to kind of skip in a clockwise fashion, while the women move in a counterclockwise fashion. And this elaborate dance has begun. Moog, as this happens, you know that the goal, the way that people win is to be the last people standing. And this can take time, but there also is a more magical element to this ritual, in that usually how you are eliminated is you are called by the female line, and you are called into the forest. And if you are called in, usually a woman will take your hand, and then you are eliminated. The goal is to not be drawn in.
Sounds like a terrible version of musical chairs.
It's a tradition of your home, and we'll see why at some point.
Okay.
But as you are beginning to shuffle and dance, Moog, the women begin to sing. They begin to sing a sorrowful tune. And I need Moog Braja to give me a wisdom saving throw. $17. Moog, you hear the tune and you feel almost a need for just a moment to let go of your fellow brothers, your fellow clansmen, your fellow neighbors of your community, and reach out towards one of these veiled figures, but you don't. You watch as 6 of your fellow men break ranks and immediately move in, and 6 people are eliminated right off the bat. The women have to make a check too, but we only have you. So that's what we're going to focus on right now. All right. And the dance continues. After the first break, you watch as they clasp hands, their eyes roll in the back of their heads and they just fall onto the ground unconscious. Just right there. And then you begin to move in the other direction. Now you begin moving counterclockwise, Moog. And the dance continues for another 3 or 4 minutes. This keeps going on. Moog, at this point, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
One Constitution saving throw coming right up.
The DC is not high yet.
That's good. 22.
Very good. Moog's feeling good. Moog, you see as you're starting to sweat, and you're used to physical exertion, Moog.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the extra weight that your body holds on you from all of the appendages that have attached themselves to you, all of the gifts of the dredger that have been bestowed. But you're able to keep yourself going. You watch as several more of the men in the crowd, the men in the dance, are beginning to visibly sweat, as if they are becoming overly exerted. And with a weakened constitution comes a weakened mind.
Yeah.
I need you to make another wisdom saving throw. However, you are not at disadvantage, my friend.
My constitution was pretty high. Oh, that's an unfortunate.
You have 1d10 bardic inspiration.
Oh,
Zoom, did you give you a bardic inspiration?
And we're still within that 10-minute period. I was actually nervous
do that.
when you said 3 to 4 minutes. I was like, crap.
Okay, so that makes it a 13.
13 passes.
Nice.
As you, and it comes eerily close this time, Moog. It comes close. You feel your fingers beginning to loosen, and then you grab hold once more. As this time, 9 men drop ranks. The circle is now, you're not even holding arms anymore. You're kind of holding your arms out at your sides, and you're still moving in the direction, but there's not enough people left to form an actual ring. And you're all spaced out evenly. And Graug is still with you.
What you got?
Graug has gotten very close to you at this point.
Yeah.
There are currently only 5 men left, so there's only 5 people left in this competition mode.
All right.
I need you to give me a Constitution save as you guys begin to shift into the opposite direction.
I'm getting tired.
You're getting tired, Moog. You're getting very tired.
It's getting hard to do.
You're dragging at this point, Moog.
Yeah.
As you are shifting around what possibly is the final turn. Everyone's eyes are on you. Yeah. And the rest of you in the crowd, you begin to see as the blossoms on the actual tree itself are beginning to slowly open as this dance continues. And they're almost to that point where they're fully bloomed. I need you to give me a wisdom save, Moog, at disadvantage because your body is weakening. Nine. Now, Moog, you do have you had an inspiration from last time. Should you choose to use it?
A DM inspiration, or
you did.
Okay.
If you roll higher,
take that re-roll. I just get to roll once, though, right?
Yes.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Moog.
Beautiful.
Moog. I gotta roll for Grog too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Grog passes.
Mm-hmm.
As you're moving around and you watch as suddenly you're moving forward and you don't even remember it happening. You're rushing forward and a woman grabs you by the head, by the face, and both palms. Her veil begins to lift, and for a moment you see the visage of a screaming, ghostly face, Moog. And your eyes roll back into your head, and both Moog and none one else in the crowd sees the ghostly face. Moog and this woman collapse in a heap on the ground, unconscious.
Lovely.
Graug is the last man standing. As he walks forward, holding a younger bugbear female, probably in like her early teens. Both of them are heavily exerted, sweating. All of the rest of you in the crowd you hear many of the people in the crowd begin to clap and cheer as the blossoms on the tree fully bloom. As this happens, you see Grau, stand victorious. He looks down at Moog, and he just smiles. He gets up onto the pedestal where Lady Tyr is, and she kind of like takes a few steps away from him, but he grabs her by the waist and pulls her close to him. And as he does so, he looks out to the crowd and says, "Oh, how far the once mighty have fallen." And he's announcing this to everyone, almost as if this is a podium, and he's making a speech. "The noble, strong lords of Brunwood reduced to this," and he points down at the unconscious Moog. "How weak they have become. Just look at what they associate with," as he looks out towards the party. The vegged out Velree and Rogard, and of course, the elves, Trist and Zune.
Eating his kebab.
Yeah. And it's their fault, the Broadjaws, that we are in the mess we are. If they had blindly followed the outsider, the manipulator from the Shogun's regime, we would be strong and feared as Bugbear once more. Know this, someday soon, they will not be able to protect you, but Clan Longarm will take up arms, and once the threat is banished, so will the reign of these pretender lords. And he takes Lady Tyr, and there's a few people in the crowd that begin to clap in speech. Some people are like, "Yeah, fuck yeah!" like out in the crowd. You watch as
make a leave.
You watch as
it took our jobs.
As Biz, Moog's cousin, has walked up, and she's like fence clenched at her sides. She's in her full armor, as if she perhaps is getting ready to go take her watch on the wall, but she wanted to make an appearance at the festival. And she just looks upset looking up at this. But you hear many people in the crowd, despite even her presence here, beginning to whisper things. You know, he's right. You know, it is their fault. They're the reason we're so held down. You hear all these things happen as Moog is unconscious, laying there.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. I'm gonna stand up and very loudly proclaim, probably ill-advised, that I'm going to challenge Grau and say, you who has not gone anywhere or done anything for this village has the balls to speak ill of one who has gone out and fought and killed a literal god and came back for his love. You have the balls to say anything. How are you going to protect people if you can't even leave the village? And persuasion. Do I have to roll persuasion?
You roll me a persuasion check. Why not?
Fuck.
Yeah, what he said.
And I'm going to use luck.
Oh,
18.
use some luck. Zune.
Do you think 18's enough?
I don't know. It's up to you.
You know what? I'm going to use luck.
I mean, that's pretty high.
Is it though?
It is pretty high.
Is it though?
But I'm trying to convince
these
him
are just
to
commoners.
just one higher.
19. I mean, is that high enough though, Zune? I don't know.
You know what? 19. I'll stop at 19.
Stop at 19? Okay.
And hopefully, I don't know, we're just going to get into a
as you
screaming
shout this
match.
out, Grau just kind of like looks down towards you. Say, look. An elf. Speaking up for everyone else. Look at this. Look at this mess.
Yes, look, an elf who has a better point than you. Isn't that disgusting? We need a bugbear that can stand his own against an elf. And guess what? You don't make a very good argument. You're weak.
He looks down at you at this point.
That's fine.
He's as tall as Mo. He's up on
That's
a pedestal.
Okay.
And he
Go get my soapbox.
He kind of looks out. Where are you staying there, Zune?
Do what?
Are you staying where you're at currently?
Oh, I will move.
Where are you going?
To a higher vantage point, to as high as I can, so I can look down on him.
You're kind of up. Zune tries to find a higher place. He's like up on like a raised, like constructed, like, you know, what was that called? Not a fucking table. God damn it. A stage. He's on a stage, kind of elevated. So you begin to like climb something nearby. We'll say you probably climb on someone's cart that they have set up.
That's fine.
You kind of get tall. You get real tall. Kind of bustle up your little 5.5 foot tall self.
That's fine. I've got this little magic outfit.
You change it to something else. Just like some feathers pop off, like like Uncle Cock. Speaking of Uncle Cock, you do see Uncle Cock down there, and he's currently being pulled into a side alley by a small goblin woman.
Damn it!
Regardless,
excuse me. Who is this man?
But regardless,
you're not helping my case. I need the Broadjaw clan to pull together.
As you begin to speak up, you watch as Graug takes a step in your direction. You want to see what I can do, elf?
Oh, how scary. You're going to attack a 5 foot tall elf.
I'm not going to attack you. You challenged me.
Look at this. Look at this man. This big man.
Yeah,
going
the
to
big
attack
man
a
challenges
small
the
elf.
other small man to the strong jaw.
Exactly. A big man challenges
Get your ass
a
over
small
here.
man.
And he hops off the stage.
I'm going to yell, get your ass over here.
He hops off the stage and he just looks at you.
Come to me.
Are you staying where you are, Zune?
I mean, shit, I'm not going to back down, even if it kills me.
Okay. He begins walking over
not
towards you,
nature.
Zune. You watch him walk past both Rogar and Velree, who are still like...
That's fine. It would be nice to have them here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
He walks past them and he's walking towards you, and there's menace in his eyes. He steps on Moog's face as he walks past.
Dear God.
And then keeps walking. People in the crowd are like, oh. Lady Tyr just kind of like, and
that's fine.
As he's within 10 feet of you, you watch as his extremely long 10-foot reach bugbear arm begins to shoot out for your neck.
That's
you watch
fine.
As it is grabbed.
I cannot dodge.
Before it gets to you, it's grabbed.
Oh, I thought it grabbed me. I was like, shit.
It is grabbed by Lady Biz, grabs a hold of his arm and holds it there. And she just stares at him.
Ooh.
You would dare attack an outsider. Someone given shelter within the castle walls by our warlord. You would dare. He just kind of looks at her. You shelter this creature.
Bardic inspo to Biz.
This is all happening. This is all happening right now. All right. Zune kind of a little flavor on it.
Can't do anything.
And he
I need more popcorn.
Clenches. He's going to try to break free and try and snap your neck soon.
That's fine. She's got Bardic inspo 1d10.
Okay. She's probably going to need it. She rolls a natural 20.
Oh, God.
I give her a d10 with it. Why not? She rolled another 3 on top of that. So it's like, it's over 30.
Thank God.
As he goes to, and she grabs and she squeezes. And you in the crowd watch as you see Graug, who's this tall. He's tall, much taller than her. He's heavily muscled. Mostly upper body. He's got like thinner legs. So he's been neglecting leg day. He's been skipping leg for a while.
Glamour muscles only.
He's up there, and he goes to reach for Zune again, like thrust forward. And as she squeezes, you watch as he goes, ah! And he just kind of like cringes for a moment as something kind of
control
kind of pops out of place, like his elbow. He's like oh, 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 and then he pulls it back and he's trying to hide it. He's, you haven't heard the last of this?
Oh God, no one's heard the last of this.
And people in the crowd are like, yeah, you fucker, get the hell out of here, you ruined the festival. And fuck.
My, how the tone changes so quick.
How the turntables.
And he begins to kind of like push his way out. You see a few of his like clan members begin to kind of walk with him as they walk away towards the docks. Zune's like holding his chest, looking down at all this.
I'm gonna go hug Biz.
You jump down. Biz is like,
oh God, I thought I was gonna die.
Well, you're quite stunning. Thank you for the kind words. I could not bring myself to say anything.
It's fine. I can say anything. I say enough for everyone.
Well, you are appreciated. Any friend of Velree, of course. Speaking of which, what has happened to her?
I don't know. I know they were going to go get some potions, and then they came out and.
Where did they get the potions from?
Probably the general store. I was busy. I was performing.
That dude in the alley.
He said the first one was free, and we were like, "That's a great deal."
Oh no! Did they go to the Rodfathers?
He was near a cart that said free candy.
Probably the Rodfathers. We've been going to a chain, I think, the Father chain for a while.
Yes. Damn you, Advular. Fucking Thurbolg and his shit.
And he kind of grabs Velree and Rogar. Come with me, it'll wear off in 12 to 15 hours. And begins to walk them up towards the castle. Begins to walk them up towards the castle just in a daze. Like, You watch as Rogar tries to eat like a lantern. He's like,
those are some really good shrooms.
He's like trying to bite at it as he walks past, and they just walked away. One of the people at the festival.
See, Rogar's like, have you ever looked at your breath weapon? Like, I mean, really looked at it?
Looked at it? Yeah, you know.
see the ice crystals. They're so.
He blows it out, and he's just like.
Especially now that he has his crown of intellect on.
It's true. As someone from the festival comes by with the equivalent of selling salts, and they start waking up all the unconscious individuals on the ground. And they all quickly begin to stir and stand up. Moog, you come to wakefulness. This doesn't account as you actually going unconscious.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about, that kind of exhaustion or anything.
Gotcha.
But you did lose Moog. And you look up and you see Lady Tyr standing there, disappointed. But you don't see Ground. It's unusual. She should be dancing right now.
Yeah, we're dancing.
Here. Can we approach Moog?
Sure. Yeah.
Can I stand up?
Oh yeah, Moog.
Mm-hmm. Stand up and brush myself off.
You kind of.
Being your wingman is dangerous.
Yeah.
And you owe me so much right now. If we survive, and if I make it out of here alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so that we're square.
Yeah.
And
he's still exhausted.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you want. And Groud did not get a chance to dance with Lady Tyr, so.
Oh. Mo looks at Lady Tyr.
She looks down at you. She's up on the platform.
Podium. Yeah.
Yeah, near the podium.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna get up on the stage.
Moog just climbs up on the stage. He walks over.
Yeah.
He climbs up. The goblin.
Mind if I do?
Who's down there? He's like, "The hell are you doing, Moog?"
Huh? And I just I put my hand over the goblin and push him away and reach up and take Lady Tyr's hand, and we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go dancing.
You grab a hold of her. You just grab a hold of her.
No. I hold my arm out, like hold my hand out, like invite her to dance with me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a persuasion check, Moog.
Kiss the girl. Wow.
That's gracious. 13.
Does anybody want to aid him with something?
I would love to aid him if I'm allowed.
Okay, yeah. Roll a d10 because you're gonna need it, Moog.
You're gonna need it, huh? All right, D10. Don't fail me now. An 8.
Damn.
That's like a 21.
21. Okay. She hesitates. She goes to reach out towards you, and it's almost like it doesn't look like she's it's not like she's shying away from you, Moog.
Yeah.
It's more of like you see her almost not wanting to look you in the eye, Moog.
Yeah. That's okay. I don't want to look me in the eye either.
She kind of just lets you, she reaches out her hand and takes yours.
I'll give her a crusty grin.
She looks at you and kind of smiles back.
Do they just barnacles?
Yeah,
mostly
God
barnacles.
damn it, they better not be. They're not. No, I can't. This grosses me out. It's not happening. It hasn't gone that far yet. It hasn't gone that far yet. The only thing wrong with his face is his dead eye that leaks salt water. The rest of it's his
and his
body.
barnacle teeth, but okay.
He doesn't have barnacle teeth. God damn it, it's disgusting. If he keeps progressing,
No barnacle teeth.
it might happen. You better
No
find
barnacle
something. Find a cure soon. But
I go to the temple.
as she takes you, you smile, Mo. She kind of smirks for a moment and then kind of lowers her head a little bit, and you guys begin to dance. There's more of a softer kind of tune begins to play. Is there anything you want to say, Mo?
Yeah, I would ask her about this. What's going on with my grandpa?
Do you? How do you say this, Mo?
Didn't expect to see you in the court yesterday.
Sorry, it's desperate times, Moog. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. I'd hope you'd just never come back. Not that you were hurt. Just
That hurts.
that you would never. No, not in that way. Let me explain. Just that you'd never have to see me like this.
I understand. Well, I didn't anticipate anyone ever having to see me like this.
Well, you know what I mean, Moog.
What's happening?
Well, we were going to lose the tavern, Moog. After our parents vanished with everyone else's, it's me, my sister, and my brother. And he is the captain of the guard, so we've had ties, and we've been considered a great family in the community, but a great name doesn't pay the bills. And we needed money, and your aunt
What if
approached me with a means to an end. She said that your family's in desperation, that we're on the verge of collapse, and they needed an heir.
what if we bought the tavern?
What do you mean, Moog?
Me and my party. We got quite a lot of money.
You can just buy a tavern, Moog. From
Yeah,
under your grandfather. You know how much he's going to charge you, right?
We could buy the town.
Give me another persuasion check, Moog, because he doesn't believe you. 1 minute.
He's trying to big dick that other guy.
I know.
Right now.
It's like, she's not gonna believe that. It's a 1.
I can afford it.
She just kind of looks at you, Moog, and goes, "Thank you for trying. I needed a good laugh."
So what we got to do now? This is
As you're
out of character.
dancing.
What we got to do now is just give her the deed to the tavern later.
Well,
Yep.
before we get to that,
You need to find out when the wedding is.
She does. She smiles. She chuckles a little bit, and she kind of just rests her head on your chest, Moog, as you're dancing. As this happens, the rest of you out in the crowd, what are you guys doing?
Dancing.
Trist is dancing
Yes.
by
I've
himself.
had sake. Yes, I've had sake. I've had food. I'm just in the crowd now.
Woo! He's getting it. He's out there. He's
doing his Baron Zemo.
What about
Leaving in
Zoom?
and out of everybody.
I want to try to clock and memorize every single person that seems sympathetic to what's his face, whoever could be a potential enemy in this crowd, because now I'm very paranoid.
That's probably a good idea. Give me an insight check, Zoom.
I love it.
Please, dear God.
Zoom's got an enemies list now.
Okay, that's a 25.
Dear God. How? My God.
I have a plus 10 to insight.
My God. It's ridiculous. Zune, I don't know. You're just an insightful person, one might say. Obviously.
I'm a terrified, paranoid person, one might say.
As you're like, threats could be from anywhere. You're kind of falling back into old tendencies, back where you originated from. Back from when your sisters would torture you and death was around every corner sometimes, and you fall back into old habits, and you start casing body language and a few other
PTSD.
things. And you see that there are you clocked a fair number of individuals, not just members of Clan Lonarm, which are obviously going to be a part of this, but you saw a few of the guards that are Broadjaw affiliated, but not actual Broadjaws themselves, as well as a fair number of the common folk that were kind of moved by that speech, especially with an unconscious lord at the man's feet. It was not a good look.
It's not.
And then there were the words that were said, words that may ring true for some of these individuals.
He's a regular Hitler.
There was a bit of, one might say, Nazism in the speech, but it was here or there.
No, I just mean they're already down and he's just playing on it.
So yes.
Not a hard sell.
You do see that there's quite a few people, but you don't see anybody that looks like they're going to try to capitalize in the moment.
Okay.
I'll say that you're keeping an eye out for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So as the dance comes to a close, Mo, you know it's coming to a close because you start to hear pew, and you look up towards the castle as the first fireworks are being shot out from around the courtyard. As you see in full bloom in the castle courtyard is the massive, the first tree, the mighty Blueblossom of Clan Broadjaw is fully awakened. One thing that's special, at least that all of you have noticed, you guys have seen Blueblossoms before, but all of the ones here glow with light coming from the petals. They give off a glow of their own, a blue glow, as they are soaking in whatever natural occurring magics or energies are taking place in this near area. Whatever bits of nature, spiritual awakening that's been happening. And as the fireworks go off one after another off into the sky, exploding in the distance, I'm gonna need Mo, you'll get advantage. Zune, are you still up on an elevated place, Zune?
I imagine I would be, just to try to.
Okay.
I don't want to get stabbed randomly in a crowd, so.
Okay, so I'll give Mogan Zune advantage and Trist just a regular perception test, the three of you. Seen a lot of high rolls here. Yep, definitely a lot of high rolls here.
I got a nat 20.
I saw that. I saw that at 26. I was like, dear God. All right. So all of you actually, including Moog, Zune, his eyes fucking zoom in, up in the darkness. It was a very difficult check. You notice there's not many people, pretty much nobody down below has noticed yet. But as the fireworks are going off, you guys start to see a bit of a commotion up towards the castle. You guys are down in the village. And you watch as several individuals are kind of walking, or not so much walking, they're more of like a jog, down the hill. But what's strange is that they are kind of running through like the grass and trees. They're not on the path. They're kind of like off to the side of the path, coming down from up above. And as you begin to kind of look, Zune, with that very high roll, you can notice that these figures are wearing armor, though they hold no weapons. And it's more of like almost like a strange gait to their kind of like jog run. And you see,
no.
You see a pale face on one of them as the light strikes it just right. And from a very good distance away.
And where are they running down from again?
And now it's at this point that you guys look up and you see that they're running in the direction of the large palisade gate to the Shrieking Forest. They're running down from there, as if they came from that direction. And
Like
that's where we're going to take.
Festival.
And they look like they're heading straight for the festival. And we're going to take our first break there.
Great.